Episode 8 begins with a man brutally torturing Kim. He demands to know which operations Kim carried out in the south and on whose orders, but Kim remains silent. Hot water is poured over him, and a red-hot iron rod is pressed against him, yet Kim refuses to speak. The man says, "I know you are a father. I will inflict twice the torture I've given you upon your daughter, Minji. So, just tell me." Kim, however, is feigning sleep. The man picks up an electric shock wire, saying, "Fine, if you're asleep." Just then, Kim opens his eyes, shocks the man, and slits his throat, killing him instantly. Kim opens the door to find Gook Chul and director Young standing there. He realizes he is in South Korea and that the entire situation had been orchestrated. They speak to Kim. Young tells Gook Chul, "I told you Kim would never betray us. See, I was right." Kim asks Young, "Why don't you just kill me?" Young replies, "That's the same question you asked 20 years ago. It's not that we like you or pity you. There is one final operation. If you complete it, both you and your daughter will be given new identities, and you will be free forever." Kim asks, "All right, what is the operation?" Gook Chul explains that a high-ranking North Korean official has defected to China. He has requested asylum, so Kim must go there to provide him with security. A North Korean delegation is arriving for inter-Korean talks, and Kim must guard the defector until they leave. Kim asks, "All right, but while all this is happening, who will provide security for my daughter?" Gook Chul replies, "I can handle that." Kim says, "Really? I know what you did last time." Gook Chul replies, "Your daughter is a South Korean citizen, and I'm willing to risk my life to save her." Kim agrees but sets a condition: Hansu and Jin Chul must be released. In the next scene, officers approach Hansu and Jin Chul, informing them that they are being transferred and must cooperate. They attempt to administer anesthesia. Hansu initially struggles, but a woman injects him in the leg, causing him to lose consciousness. The same procedure is performed on Jin Chul, who also passes out after receiving multiple injections. Later, they are taken to a remote area and thrown out of the vehicle with their hands bound. Hansu spots a key nearby, frees his hands, and approaches Jin Chul, who is feigning sleep. Hansu tells him the key is right there and he can free himself, then runs off. Jin Chul watches him leave and calls out for help, but Hansu is already gone. Hansu walks to a nearby shop where an elderly woman is present. He asks her the location, and she tells him it is Haenam. Shocked, Hansu realizes the truth. Jin Chul arrives and asks what happened, complaining of hunger and suggesting they get something to eat. Hansu replies that he has no money and asks if Jin Chul even knows where they are. When Hansu reveals they are in Haenam, close to the rest of South Korea, Jin Chul is stunned and shouts out Gook Chul's name. We see Gook Chul standing in one spot, smiling. Gang Chan is at home, recalling the moment Kim approached him and struck him. In the next scene, we see him with the assemblyman. The two are playing a game together. The assemblyman speaks to Sim, asking, "You don't look well today. Is something wrong?" Sim replies, "Yes, I didn't sleep." The man asks, "Is there a reason? Are you worried about the North Korean delegation? They are coming to your resort for inter-Korean talks, after all. But don't worry, once that happens, you'll be rolling in money." Gang Chan asks, "Did you do what I told you to find out?" Sim explains, "We asked the police, but there is absolutely no trace of Kim or his daughter. There are no records of them whatsoever." In the next scene, we see Jin Chul arriving home. His daughter, 𝗍𝗶𝗰, is there. He starts talking to her. 𝗍𝗶𝗰 notices a t-shirt featuring her photo and says, "I told you to throw the t-shirt away. It's embarrassing. If you don't get rid of it, I'll run away from home." She then walks into her room. Jin Chul says, "You're rarely home, and I miss you. That's why I put that photo up." Just then, his wife enters. Seeing him, she asks, "Where have you been? You smell." He tries to approach her, but she holds back. Jin Chul says, "I'm hungry." His wife replies, "Take a shower first, only then will I cook for you." In the next scene, we see a man being brought to South Korea to seek asylum. Kim appears and signals that he is right there. The man gets into the car and says, "It's been a long time since we met, 66. Kim looks at him and realizes it is Ryung. Ryung explains that he had asked the South's agency for security and recommended Kim because there is no one more capable. Ryung then recalls a past event. a meeting we have already seen. That was when they first learned Kim was alive, and Ryung had insisted that Kim must be killed at all costs. However, someone pointed out that there was a traitor in their midst who needed to be imprisoned first. They reminded him of the operation where Kim and his team were sent to the Republic of Korea to assassinate a target. The mission failed because the information had been leaked, resulting in the deaths of their operatives. They accused Ryung of being responsible for the leak, but he denied it. In the next scene, set in his office, soldiers arrive to arrest him. However, Ryung manages to grab his gun and kills all three of them. Back in the present, Ryung asks Kim, "What are you thinking? Your primary job is to protect me. Get me out of here, fast." Kim complies, driving to a large house where Sang and Mr. Lim, who had come to assist, were already waiting. Kim asks, "Where is my daughter?" Sang replies that she is with the SMD. We see Minji with the SMD, asking them, "Where is my father? Is he even alive? Why won't you tell me?" An agent explains that protocol prevents them from disclosing that information. 𝗍𝗶𝗰𝗁 assures her, "Yes, your father is safe." Minji asks, "When can I see him?" 𝗍𝗶𝗰𝗁 says it depends entirely on him. We see Kim standing guard outside the house. Ryung is inside, recalling a past incident where he had made an incision in his own body and inserted something, likely a piece of vital information. Kim remembers what Director Jung had told him years ago. It was Ryung who caused their operation to fail, resulting in the death of Kim's friend. He also recalls a moment with his daughter, Minji, where she promised to become stronger and wait for him after he left, telling him not to worry about her. Gang Chan brings some people to his resort and announces that the North Koreans will be staying there. Dae Joong is with him. Later, he tells Gang Chan what Kim had done to him. Gang Chan asks who the man is. Dae Joong explains where he came from and how he arrived there, noting that the North Koreans are desperate to kill him. Gang Chan asks where he is, and Dae Joong tells him. Meanwhile, Jin Chul is at a restaurant, having a drink. Han Soo approaches him, showing a poster and saying he needs to do something else to teach karate, as all the children have left. Jin Chul reveals that something similar happened to him. Officials came and confiscated all his weapons, which he had cherished deeply. Just then, Han Soo receives a call from the police informing him that his son, Dae Joong, has beaten up some other children and asking him to come over immediately. Han Soo rushes there and speaks with the police. He comes out with his son and says, "Come on, we need to go somewhere." In the next scene, the show moves to a training session where the instructor declares, "From now on, we will only beat each other up." He then spars with Dae Joong and asks, "Do you realize now how much pain those people you struck must have felt?" However, just as Hansu is walking away, Dae Joong kicks his father from behind. Hansu shouts, "How could you kick your own father?" He tries to grab Dae Joong, but the young man runs away. We then see Ryung talking to Kim, telling him, "We are the same." Kim, however, refuses to accept this. Ryung reflects and says, "There is a difference. I am a defector, but you are a traitor who betrayed your country and is now begging to survive here." Kim watches on TV that the North Korean delegation has arrived. They all gather at the resort, where Gang Chan welcomes them. While everyone is dining, a security guard approaches his boss with news from China. Ryung has arrived in South Korea and is being held by the local agency. The boss, furious, starts to leave, but Gang Chan stops him, asking, "Are you going after Ryung? I know where he is and who he is with, because I am very familiar with him." In the next scene, Gang Chan speaks privately to a man, revealing that Ryung is associated with Code 66, and providing his location. He adds, "I want you to keep Kim alive, though, because I want to kill him myself," and offers gold as payment. Meanwhile, Kim is watching the security feed and notices several vehicles arriving. Mr. Lim and Sang observe the same thing and inform Kim. They then approach Ryung and tell him it is time to leave. The men enter, but find nothing. Assuming the targets had already fled, they leave. However, while Mr. Lim and Sang-yi had indeed driven away, Ryung was still there, having been locked inside a closet. Kim approaches him and says it is time to go. The men spot Sang-yi's car but do not open fire. Later, Kim asks Ryung why they didn't shoot, realizing it was because he possesses information about the missile. One of the men reports back to his boss, who is with Gang Chan, confirming that the targets have escaped. The boss wants to take action, but Gang Chan stops him, claiming to have a better plan. In the next scene, 𝗍𝗄𝗄 receives a call instructing him to take action. He then orders his team to track Kim's location. We see Kim in the car with Ryang. Sang-yi, who is with Mr. Lim, calls Kim and asks if he has managed to escape. Kim confirms it. She offers to inform the SMD, but Kim stops her, suspecting an insider is leaking information to the enemy. Otherwise, how would they know their whereabouts? He tells her not to mention it to anyone. Ryang asks Kim where they are going, and Kim replies that they are heading to a safe place. Meanwhile, an SMD camera spots their vehicle. Kim arrives at Jin Chul's hideout and tells Ryang to stay in the car. Inside, he finds Han-soo and Jin Chul together, but is surprised to see Young there as well. Recognizing him, they wonder what he is doing there, and Jin Chul speculates that the agency must have assigned him a task. They called me too and asked me to help you, but I refused. Han-soo probably did the same. Kim says, "You did the right thing. We're only staying here until tonight." But just then, Kim notices that the SMD agents have arrived. 𝗍𝗄𝗄 tells Ryong it is time to go home. Kim asks, "What is this? We're in the middle of an operation, aren't we?" But 𝗍𝗄𝗄 declares that he never liked the operation or Kim from the very start. He warns Kim not to try anything funny, as they have his daughter. He even shows her to him. Kim is disarmed, and 𝗍𝗄𝗄 tells him the operation has failed and that he will never see his daughter again. The episode ends there. Episode 9 begins with Gang Chan and Nam arriving at an arena-like location, plotting their next move. Nam thanks Gang Chan for giving him another chance and then reviews the profiles of Han-soo and Jin Chul. We then flash back a few hours to a scene where Gang Chan speaks to the North Korean contact, reassuring him that he has some exciting plans in store. In the next scene, we see Prime Minister Jong-un waiting for the North Korean representative to discuss inter-Korean talks. When the man arrives, Jong-un asks what happened and why the talks were cancelled. The North Korean representative reveals he knows the truth. Jong-un has been harboring the North's most wanted fugitive, young Ryang, along with Code 66. He demands their handover, warning that failure to do so will not only cancel the talks but also sever relations between the two nations, hinting at the dire consequences that could follow. Jong-un then calls 𝗍𝗄𝗄, instructing him and the others to stand down and rest. 𝗍𝗄𝗄 complies. We then revisit the final scene of episode 8, where the SMD arrives to arrest the pair. North Korean agents have pulled up in vehicles, and the two are handed over to them. 𝗍𝗄𝗄 recalls a past conversation with Director Yoon, who had explained that Ryang possessed crucial missile information and could not be released until that intelligence was secured. When 𝗍𝗄𝗄 had asked if he was defying the Prime Minister's orders, Yoon had insisted that Kim would eventually make a move to see his daughter again, telling 𝗍𝗄𝗄 to simply watch and wait rather than intervene. We see Han-soo and Jin Chul discussing whether they should go to help Kim. After all, they had helped him last time, only to face dire consequences. Suddenly, Han-soo checks his phone and realizes it isn't his. Someone must have swapped it. Since his own phone is extremely valuable, he decides to go retrieve it. Jin Chul agrees to join him, and they drive off. Although the phone serves as a pretext, their real intention is to help Kim. Meanwhile, Kim and Ryang are in a car. Kim watches helplessly as Ryang's vehicle is taken in a different direction and she is dragged out. They are filming the scene when she is shot. A call is subsequently made to the North Korean operative waiting at the hotel to inform him of the events. Kim is also pulled from his car. He comes face to face with a man and realizes it is Gang Chan. Kim confronts him, asking, "You said you would surrender, what is this? Have you sided with the North? You're a traitor." Gang Chan retorts, "That's not me, you are the traitor. I know exactly who you are and what you're doing here. Don't worry, we're both doing this to save our children." Gang Chan intends to shoot him but decides against doing it right there. He orders his men to take Kim away. However, Kim snatches a gun from one of the men and opens fire. Just as a gunman prepares to shoot Kim, Jin Chul intervenes and stops him. Gang Chan tries to drive away, but Han-soo intercepts him. The two men then turn to Kim, asking, "What should we do now? It looks like Ryang has been killed." Han-soo brings Gang Shan out, saying he likely knows everything. Kim wants to kill him, but Gang Shan proposes a deal. let him go, and I'll tell you where Ryang is being held. Kim agrees. In the next scene, we see the men who had previously abducted Ryang entering the hotel. They are carrying a sack. Outside, observers note that this isn't a South Korean hotel, it is effectively North Korean territory, as everyone there belongs to that side. Gang Chan is watching the scene from behind a tree. The men bring the sack to their boss, and we see that Ryang is inside. The boss tells Ryang, "Give us the missile information, and I'll let you go," but Ryang refuses. The boss orders his men to prepare the bathtub, stating they need to torture him. We also see a flashback to the moment Ryang was shot, revealing that he had actually been wearing a bulletproof vest. They then bring Gang Chan to meet Sang and Mr. Lim, who are there to assist them. Sang reports that she spotted a sack using her drone. Upon seeing it, Kim surmises that Ryang must be inside. Sang adds that the area is heavily guarded by police and security, making it impossible to simply walk in. They devise a plan. Mr. Lim will pose as a laundry worker to help smuggle them out safely. However, the main challenge remains: how did they get inside in the first place? They cannot use the main entrance. They ask Gang Chan what they should do. Gang Chan mentions there is another secret door that he manages. He tells them they can use his ID to open it. The next scene shows everyone making preparations. They use earpieces to stay connected. They arrive in a vehicle, but security guards stop them and ask for their identities. Gang Chan appears from behind and explains that they have come on behalf of the Prime Minister. After a verification call, they are cleared to enter. They reach the door Gang Chan had mentioned, and he opens it for them. Meanwhile, we see Gang Chan watching them leave. They all take an elevator into a room, examine the building's layout, and plan their next move. A message is sent to Gang Chan confirming that preparations are complete. They also order food. A young man and woman arrive with the delivery, but they are tied up, and their uniforms are taken. In the next scene, Sang and Jin Chul step out, signaling the security guards. They remark to each other that they hadn't realized South Korean girls were so pretty. The three of them enter the security room. Han Soo, who had been hiding under a table, emerges, attacks them, and takes control of the security room. Sang reviews past surveillance footage and speaks with Kim, informing him which room, 𝗵𝗰𝗁, or Ryang, was taken to and telling him he needs to go there. Kim follows the instructions, using a rope to reach the room. There, he sees several North Koreans torturing Ryang and demanding information about the missiles. The boss sends all the men outside and speaks to Ryang in private, trying to strike a deal. "I'll let you go, please just give us the information." However, Ryang refuses. Kim is nearby, watching the whole scene. Meanwhile, Mr. Lim arrives in a vehicle and tells the security guards he is the laundryman, gaining entry. After waiting for the right moment, Kim attacks the boss and knocks him unconscious. Hansu and Jin Chul emerge and begin fighting the North Korean operatives. During the fight, Jin Chul taunts Hansu, claiming he has killed more men than him. Tae Sun tries calling the security guards, but no one answers. Suspicious, he starts to flee. Sang is also nearby. She calls Kim to warn him that the security guards are still outside and haven't left. She tells him he needs to act fast because they suspect something is wrong and are heading their way. Kim tells her to leave, which she does. As soon as she leaves, Tae Sun and his men arrive and find the guards tied up. When asked what happened, the guards explain that 3 or 4 people had come there. Tae Sun orders them to turn on the jammer so the intruders cannot communicate with each other. They comply. Mr. Lim is waiting nearby in his vehicle, but time is running out. Ryang asks Kim what he plans to do next. Left with no other option, Kim opens the door, takes out the 2 guards, and starts leading Ryang away. Jin Chul and Hansu are seen taking down the remaining men. They reach the elevator but encounter 4 more guards. Jin Chul tells Hansu not to worry, saying he will handle them himself. He enters the elevator and closes the doors, immediately engaging in a fight. Meanwhile, we see Gang Chan tied to a pillar. He has a lighter in his pocket but needs to retrieve it from where it had fallen earlier. One of Mr. Lim's men approaches him and asks, "What are you doing here? Your job is done, you can leave. How many times do I have to tell you?" Mr. Lim replies that he is leaving. Having no other choice, he departs. We then see Tyson, who has restored the camera feed and is observing the intruders in the building before cutting the power to the entire structure. We also see Tyson's boss wake up and step outside to ask what is happening. The boss shouts an order to kill Reong and Kim, no matter what. Subsequently, several soldiers armed with bombs and weapons confront Kim in the restroom and attack him, but he manages to kill them all. He then gets Reong out, saying, "Let's go." Han-soo enters a room and comes face to face with Tyson. When Han-soo asks who he is, Tyson replies, "Don't you know me? You'll find out soon enough when you fight me." A fight ensues, though Han-soo still does not realize who his opponent is. Tyson eventually reveals, "We met at the Olympics. I even won a gold medal in wrestling. Have you forgotten?" Meanwhile, Gang Chan manages to retrieve his lighter. He burns through the ropes binding him and frees himself, seemingly unconcerned that he has burned his hand in the process. Mr. Lim was supposed to be there, but there is no one around. Kim notices there is still time left, so perhaps Lim left early. Suddenly, soldiers appear outside and open fire on them. Kim and Ryang are forced to run back inside. They spot Jin Chul in the elevator. 4 men are there, intent on killing him, but he remains unseen and effortlessly takes them down. Han-soo fights Tyson and, after a tough struggle, manages to wound him. Meanwhile, Kim and Ryang find themselves surrounded by men, but Ryang holds a bomb and warns them not to approach. Han-soo and Jin Chul enter the room only to find that Gang Chan has broken free and is sitting there. They start arguing, blaming each other for not tying him up securely enough. Suddenly, Gang Chan shows them a video on his phone revealing both their children tied up in a location, screaming to be let go. Jin Chul flies into a rage. He grabs Gang Chan and demands to know what is going on, threatening to kill him if any harm comes to the children. They ask Gang Chan where their children are, but he simply smiles. That marks the end of episode 9. So, guys, today we are going to explain the final episode, episode 10. We see Kim and Ryang being surrounded by a group of men. Just then, Kim spots Sang nearby. She has come to help them. The two of them make their way to her. The men try to pursue them, but a door is shut, blocking their path. Sang sees that there is no car available, only a cart. The 3 of them hop into it and start to leave. However, the men emerge and open fire indiscriminately. Sang is no pushover, though. She retaliates in kind. Kim drops a bomb on the road, preventing the men from following them. Mr. Lim is waiting ahead. He gets them into his car and manages to slip past security. They ask him where the others went, and he replies that they were with Gang Chan. Just then, Kim receives a call. He is told that the children are in danger and that he must come to a specific location immediately. The caller apologizes. Kim is about to drive off when Sang asks, "Where are you going? Won't you tell us?" He says nothing and leaves. We then flash back a few hours to see what had happened. Nam and his men approached Han-soo's son and kidnapped him. The same thing happened to 𝗍𝗶𝗰𝘁. Nam brought them both to his hideout, took a photo, and sent it to Gang Chan to signal that everything was ready. Back in the present, Kim arrives at the location. He sees the children tied up, with Nam holding them at gunpoint. Gang Chan asks Kim, "What are you waiting for? Go in there and fight them. If you don't, I'll kill the children." Later, Han-soo tells Jin Chul, "Let's see what you do today. Will you save your children or your friend? Start fighting immediately." But they don't do that. Shots are fired near the children, terrifying both men. Kim yells at them, saying, "You don't understand the situation, fight me." Left with no other option, they fight Kim. Gang Chan fires near the children again, telling the men, "You aren't taking this fight seriously." Kim is severely injured and tells them, "Take care of my daughter." Gang Chan approaches Kim and says, "You won't see Min-ji again, you're going to die." But just then, Kim grabs Gang Chan. They break free, causing the netting to collapse and pin Gang Chan underneath. Later, they approach Nam. He tries to fire his weapon, but they knock it away and he loses consciousness. They go to the children and free them. Afterward, they look at Gang Chan and wonder what to do with him. They see Kim, who has managed to get out. He wants to leave, and although they try to speak to him, he ignores them. Han-soo tells Jin Chul, "We need to keep the children somewhere safe. My son keeps hitting me, by the way." Jin Chul laughs and says, "Thank goodness my daughter doesn't do that, she just makes fun of me." Is there anyone who can look after them? In the next scene, Jin Chul takes the children, along with Han Soo, to his wife and asks her to look after them. However, Ji Young refuses, saying, I won't do it, this isn't a daycare center. Jin Chul explains what happened and how the children were kidnapped, warning, if you don't provide security for them, they could get kidnapped again. After much persuasion, she agrees to his request. The next scene shows inter-Korean talks taking place between the South and the North. Jin Seon tells the man he wants to speak with him and takes him to a separate room. He asks, what happened at the hotel yesterday, do you have anything to say about it? The man reveals everything, how Gang Chan had orchestrated the plan and that it was all his doing. On the way home, the boss tells his team that the North must not find out what happened there, specifically, how they had captured Ryang but lost him when the others escaped. He warns that if the truth comes out, they will have to bear the responsibility for it all. Ta-san acknowledges this, saying, all right, I understand. The next scene shows Ryang in the hospital, looking at his legs. He realizes that the chip containing the crucial information is still in his possession. Director Jung arrives to interrogate him about the missile, using a lie detector, but Ryang tells the truth throughout. He tells Jung, I've told you everything, now send me to Macau. Later that night, someone disguised as a doctor arrives, subdues the guards, administers an injection to Ryang, and takes him away. It is revealed to be Kim. Kim brings him to Gang Chan. We then see a flashback to the moment Kim and Ryang were fleeing the hotel. Gang Chan had confronted them, intending to kill Ryang. Kim had challenged him, asking, what are you doing here? There's no need to kill Kim anymore, he's on our side. Gang Chan had retorted, Kim told me you were responsible for my brother's death, to which the reply was, but you were the one who said my brother died because of him. Later, he looks at Kim and demands the truth. Kim admits that his only mistake was failing to save the man's brother. Kim approaches Gang Chan and tells him there is no need to go to such lengths. He promises that Gang Chan will get another chance. Gang Chan asks, why are you doing this? He is a criminal, isn't he? Kim replies, to save my daughter. The scene shifts to the present, where Gang Chan acknowledges that Kim kept his promise. Kim recalls the moment his friend told him to stay alive. Gang Chan had said, you and Min-ji must always stay together. I'll pray for that. And don't worry, I'll stay alive. That was the last thing he said before leaving. Meanwhile, others spot Gang Chan, noticing the restraints binding him. Director Jung is informed about the hospital incident and told they need to identify the person who took Ryang away. However, Jung dismisses the idea, saying, let it go, we've obtained the missile information. He's of no concern to us anymore. Ryang wakes up to find himself on a beach, realizing his chip has been removed. He quickly discovers he is in North Korea. Soldiers approach and arrest him. In the next scene, Kim calls a powerful figure named Pyong and asks him to ruin Juin construction. Pyong agrees but notes that it is a massive company and the task will take time. He asks, by the way, why are you doing this? Kim replies, to save my daughter. Pyong remarks, I've known her since she was born. She must be all grown up now. Is she as beautiful as her mother? Pyong adds that he will handle the job but requires his fee, which is substantial. Kim agrees to pay it. In the next scene, we see several agents arriving at Yohan Construction and taking control of the premises. Everyone associated with the company is arrested. We then shift to Cambodia, where 𝗖𝗍 sees the news. Her friends message her, asking what is going on and if she really did those things with Min-ji. Meanwhile, Gang Chan speaks to the media. Reporters ask if it is true that he was working with the North and point out that his daughter has been arrested in Cambodia, asking if he is even aware of it. Suddenly, a man with a gold tooth, who is carrying a knife, attacks and kills Gang Chan. In the next scene, Kim meets director Jung and says, I've done my part. Jung replies, yes, I know, now it's my turn to act. But to do that, you have to die first. News of Kim's death spreads everywhere. North Korean security agents see the reports and become convinced that he is dead. We then see Min-ji visiting a memorial site and looking at her father's photograph. Kim arrives to meet her and says, I'm back. Min-ji replies, yes, I know, Sang told me that you had to die first but would come back to life later. In the next scene, the two are together. Kim tells his daughter, we'll get new identities now, you can go to college. Min-ji asks, will my name be changed? I don't want that, because my mother gave me this name. Can you at least call me Min-ji? He agrees. Finally, we see them with the SMD, where 𝗙𝗿𝗃 provides them with new identities. Everyone gives Min-ji a hairband as a gift. Kim thanks 𝗙𝗃𝗃. 𝗙𝗃𝗃 says, I don't even want to see you, and Kim replies, same here. They all end up laughing. Later, they step outside and meet Mr. Lim, who gives them a gift. He remarks that although they have lived near each other for years, they never knew each other's real names. He reveals his own name first. Just as Kim is about to reveal his, a car drives past, and we cannot hear what he says. Afterward, the two arrive at their new home, where Min-ji suggests they buy new clothes. Kim says he has no money right now because he is unemployed. Min-ji agrees but makes him promise to buy her clothes once he gets a job. Kim agrees and asks his daughter what she wants to be when she grows up. Min-ji replies that she wants to be a singer. In the next scene, we see Min-ji at the school she has transferred to. As she steps outside, Na Eun approaches and starts talking to her. Na Eun apologizes for the message he had sent her, but Min-ji says she understands the situation and knows he did it out of necessity. Na Eun asks if he can message her again, but she declines, explaining that she is actually transferring schools. However, she gives him her name tag and asks if he can remember her name. He agrees. The next scene shows them arriving at their new home, where Jin-chul and Han-soo are waiting to help them. However, Han-soo is wearing a new outfit, a surprising sight, given that he usually only wore his taekwondo uniform. Although Jin-chul asks him to help carry the boxes, Han-soo refuses, saying his clothes might get dirty. Later, they talk about getting something to eat. In the next scene, they are at a restaurant, enjoying Min-ji's favorite food. The following scene shows Min-ji getting ready for school. Kim has prepared a meal, but she says she will eat later. Min-ji then meets Sanj and asks if she has been keeping an eye on her, but Sanj denies it. She asks about Min-ji's father, whether he is still the same, and Min-ji confirms it. Later, we see the three heroes at a store, buying glasses. In the next scene, Jin-chul resumes his old line of work. We also see Han-soo helping his taekwondo students cross the street. Next, Kim visits a bank. He tells the man facing him that he has come for an interview. The man looks at Kim's resume and, finding it hard to believe, says he wants to verify the details. Although the man's face is not revealed, he approaches Kim, looking for a fight. Kim takes a fighting stance, and with that, the drama comes to an end. So guys, that was the final episode. Let me know in the comments what you thought of the drama. We'll meet again for a new K-drama. Bye for now.